Hey y'all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the GameSir X2. This is a mobile controller for smartphones that you can snap into place and have a more ergonomic gaming experience. Transforms your smartphone into a mini console, a mini handheld. Now in terms of pricing, the X2 is a little bit on the expensive side. It retails for $70, which makes it one of the more expensive controllers for smartphones that I've seen. Although GameSir is a pretty reputable brand that have made lots of other mobile controllers and accessories in the past, so they do have expertise in this area. Now the X2 is also a wired controller in the sense that you snap into the USB Type-C port on your device, so it's compatible with any Android smartphone. However, it won't work for your iPhone, for example, because that's using a Lightning connection. That's a contrast with their Bluetooth controllers that they've made in the past, since they claim that a wired controller like this will give you less latency and as a result less delay as you're pressing the keys and giving you kind of the best chance and best performance in the game. Now the layout of the controller is pretty reminiscent of some Nintendo devices such as the Switch and the Switch Lite compared to say a Xbox controller in terms of the layout. We do have the joysticks and the keys, which we'll take a closer look at later on. And then inside here we do have a quick layer of kind of instruction pamphlets. It kind of looks like this that we've already removed, and a sticker that you get as a little bonus. And finally we have just the controller itself. Since it doesn't have any battery, it doesn't require physical charging, it just takes power directly from your phone or device, and claims to also drain very little energy as well because there isn't any backlights. First impressions is the X2 is overall pretty solid in terms of the construction. Certainly doesn't feel cheap, has a nice kind of heft to the plastic that they're using that feels relatively solid. The controllers in terms of the joysticks are slightly raised above, so the profile won't be the thinnest, but you can still stick it into a backpack or a larger pocket without too much issues. It has quite a few rubber accents going on as far as the grip on the back, and overall it's a very ergonomic feeling as you're holding the controller in your hands. The inside here is also coated in a soft touch rubber material that prevents the phone from scratching or sliding around when you stick it in, and you can also stretch it to accommodate phones of different sizes. So even phablets that we have, 7-inch displays can still fit into this device. And then that USB Type-C port again has quite a few flexible kind of different angles that you can use to position it, and still it will be compatible and won't break. And the shoulder keys, left 1, left 2, R1, R2 are also pretty springy and responsive. All the keys feel quite tactile and clicky in terms of their action. We do also have a home key as well as a kind of screenshot key as well, which works well for Android devices. Now on the bottom here we do have a Type-C port that supports pass-through charging, so you can still charge up your phone as it's being plugged into the port here and gaming. However, it only supports standard charging speeds. So let's do a quick demo of snapping a phone into place. Again, just align the Type-C port even if you're kind of flexing it higher, and then simply pull on the other side to accommodate the width of your phone. It does feel pretty stable as well, it doesn't really wobble or anything like that. And here's a look at the profile from the side and also from the back. As long as your phone supports OTG connection using the Type-C port, it will be compatible. And again, any game that supports a controller mode will work flawlessly, just pretty much right out of the box. So let's do a quick demo of some games. By the way, another great use case would be Google Stadia and other services on the cloud. All of those will support controllers right out of the box. And if you're looking for direct Android-based games installed on your phone, you can also easily find them as well just by doing a quick Google search, just typing in games which are compatible with controllers, and then it'll give you usually a list that you can kind of search through and download the ones that you want to try out. So this is an example of a game called Space Marshals, which is working flawlessly and supports controllers as part of the software experience. As you can see there, we're able to press all the keys and everything will just kind of respond without any issues. The entire experience again feels quite good, much better than if I was just gripping the phone in my hands with the edges kind of digging into my palms. Everything here is rounded off. Here's another game, Oceanhorn, which supports controller support directly out of the box. So simply install the game, plug in the controller, and it will be automatically recognized and everything will be properly mapped without really any issues, and everything is once again working flawlessly without any problems. Even the arrow keys I can use as an alternative to the joystick if I prefer, as well as the touchscreen controls, of course, also will work too. So it just really depends on your preference. And let's say I want to do something like take a screenshot. Again, pressing on the screenshot key here once will capture that for me, or begin recording a video of the gameplay. So it's quite easy to use, and some of these other keys here will also be properly calibrated out of the box to bring up things like menus in your game if you want to save the state or bring up other controls. And we can just try this out a little bit, kind of battle around here in this game with our controller, everything feeling quite good. And the experience, again, playing back pretty smoothly and immersively on a large display. That's going to be another advantage, is we get to preserve the beautiful screen on our phones these days compared to most handhelds and retro emulators, which will not have as good quality of a screen as the smartphones that we already have. Plus, the performance and power on your phone these days is honestly more than sufficient to run, most games, especially retro style games. Now, those last two games were both Android titles, newer games which support controllers as part of its code and design, but we can of course also try out other retro games. This is really using emulation. You can still find plenty of retro kind of games in the Google Play Store and just download them and navigate the way I want to using the traditional keys, as well as the arrow commands. Everything is working again as expected. The entire experience again will be quite smooth and playable, just because we do have quite capable hardware again on our smartphones these days, and again, a pretty enjoyable process overall. Mario was just one example there, but of course you can just install any other app you want to. Plenty of those are available in the Play Store that gives you the ability to emulate other systems, including, say, Nintendo Game Boys and other systems as well, such as PSP, Nintendo 64, so on and so forth. So you can play things like Pokemon, for example, that we're doing here, and really is everything that you would want in terms of the layout, and working quite well directly on this controller. Once again, you can change the layout of the keys if you want to, and you can even fast forward through a scene. But as a general rule of thumb, even kind of mid-end phones and entry-level phones these days will still play back these older games and emulation software without any problems, since they will still be more powerful than the old consoles like the Game Boys, about a decade ago. So no issues at all. In fact, even a dedicated retro emulation console like an RG 350 has much lower end hardware and is still able to play back games quite smoothly, so really no complaints there. So that's more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of the GameSir X2, a snap-and-go controller for smartphones that can definitely enhance your gaming experience in terms of feeling much more ergonomic and comfortable, and giving you very tactile keys and a familiar layout if you have used any Nintendo system. They're also remappable, and really didn't have any complaints in terms of using it. It's as easy as it gets in terms of setting it up, pretty much automatically recognized in almost every single case. So you can check out more details if you are interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. It's been the GameSir X2.